Okay, how's it going, everybody? We're gonna go ahead and get into the second part here of "When the Masses in Their Millions" for the Anti-Japanese National United Front. May 7th, 1937. This was the concluding speech made by Comrade Mao Zedong at the National Conference of the Communist Party of China, held in May 1937. So this time we're going to read the second part of this. This is the question of democracy. So let's go ahead and get into this. It starts out with the quote here, and I'll read what this quote is from. It says, quote, "To put the emphasis on democracy is wrong. The emphasis should be solely on resistance to Japan. Without direct action against Japan, there could be no movement for democracy. The majority of the people want only resistance to Japan, not democracy, and what is needed is another December 9th movement." So let's read the seventh here. It's got a note here, the seventh note. It says, "This was at the students' patriotic demonstration in Peking on December 9th, 1935, led by the Chinese Communist Party. The movement called for the cessation of civil war and armed resistance to Japan and won nationwide support." So let's go back up here. Okay. Question of democracy. Okay, yeah. So this is Mao Zedong after that quote. "Let me put first a few questions. Can it be said that what the majority of the people wanted in the previous stage, i.e., from the December 9th movement of 1935 to the third plenary session of the Kuomintang Central Executive Committee in February 1937, was merely resistance to Japan and not internal peace? Was it wrong to emphasize internal peace then? Was it impossible to have a movement for internal peace without direct action against Japan? The Xi'an incident in the third plenary session of the Kuomintang Central Executive Committee took place after the resistance in Suiyuan ended. And today, too, there is as yet nothing equivalent to the Suiyuan resistance or the December 9th movement. Everybody knew that in order to resist Japan, there had to be internal peace. That without internal peace, there could be no resistance to Japan. And that internal peace was a condition for resistance. All the anti-Japanese activities in the previous stage, whether direct or indirect, beginning with the December 9th movement and ending with the third plenary session of the Kuomintang Central Executive Committee, were centered on the struggle for internal peace, which was then the central link, the most essential thing in the anti-Japanese movement. Similarly today, in the new stage, democracy is the most essential thing for resistance to Japan. And to work for democracy is to work for resistance to Japan. Resistance and democracy are interdependent, just are resistance and internal peace. Democracy and internal peace. Democracy is the guarantee of resistance, while resistance can provide favorable conditions for developing the movement for democracy. We hope there may be, and indeed there will be, many direct and indirect struggles against Japan in the new stage, and these will give an impetus to the war of resistance and greatly assist the movement for democracy. But the core and essence of the revolutionary task history has set us is the winning of democracy. Is it, then, wrong to keep stressing democracy? I do not think so. Japan is stepping back. Britain and Japan are virtually inclined to strike a balance, and Nanking is wavering more than ever." That was all in quote. Quote, Japan is stepping back to Nanking is wavering more than ever, end quote. "Ignorance of the laws of historical development has given rise to this needless anxiety. If there were a revolution in Japan, and she really withdrew from China, it would help the Chinese Revolution and would be just what we want, marking the beginning of the collapse of the world front of aggression. But what room for anxiety would there be then? But as a matter of fact, there is not what is happening. Sago's diplomatic moves are preparations for a major war, and a major war confronts us. Britain's policy of wavering can get her nowhere. Her clash of interests with Japan making this certain. If Nanking continues to waver for long, it will become the enemy of the whole nation and its own interests. Do not allow it to keep on wavering. A temporary retrogression cannot change the general law of history. Hence, one should not deny the existence of the new stage or the necessity of sitting the task of winning democracy. In any case, moreover, the slogan of democracy is appropriate, because it is obvious to everybody that the Chinese people have far too little democracy and not too much. Actual events have also shown that to define the new stage and to set the winning of democracy as our task is to move a step closer to resistance. Events have moved forward. let us not put the clock back. Quote, why do we place so much emphasis on a National Assembly? End quote. Because it is something which can affect every aspect of life, because it is the bridge from reactionary dictatorship to democracy, because it is connected with national defense, and because it is a legal institution to recover Eastern Hopi and Northern Chahar, to combat smuggling, to oppose economic collaboration, etc. As many comrades have proposed is quite correct, but this complements rather than in any way conflicts with the fight for democracy and a National Assembly. The essential thing is still the National Assembly and freedom for the people. It is correct and indisputable that the day-to-day struggle against Japan and the people's struggle for a better life must be linked up with the movement for democracy. Nevertheless, the central and essential thing in the present stage is democracy and freedom. Okay, so we have a few more notes here. 8 and 9. 8 is the smuggling of Japanese goods into China. 9, this refers to the self-styled Sino-Japanese economic collaboration. Okay, so yeah, that was the question of the question of democracy. It's the second part of this whole speech here from 1937. When the masses in their millions for the anti-Japanese National United Front. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium. All of these are Marxist. Hit me up there. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the like button. Like the pages. Follow me on Twitter, like Facebook, etc. I post my own articles on Medium. Y'all can go check those out. And yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in. Hit me up there. Y'all have a great day, and Dodada Goi.